It's time now for Carter's Corner. Everything Bay Area sports on the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network. Here is your host, Carter Kim.
Hello, void of darkness, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and bees. Welcome to Carter's Corner on Northern Light Sports and Entertainment. I am Carter. Here talking to you about a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the sports world right now. A lot of baseball signings, a lot of new news on everything from basketball to baseball. Free agency has been getting hot as of late. There's been a lot of great moves. Jonathan Loaisiga just got re-signed by the Yankees. Crochet, Jake Berger, Eovaldi have all made their decisions. Fried as well. We all know about that. Mets and Soto, us and Adames. But hey, it's been a heck of a day. I've been enjoying myself. I've been working on some final stuff, saying goodbye to some people. I've been having a great time, man. Just trying to move through the day and have some fun. But yeah, happy Thursday, Daniel. To you too. I mean, just hoping that some people will come in here so we can have some conversation. But Willy Adames has press conference today, which was really great. I mean, he said specifically that he's into winning and he wants this team to be built so that him, Matty, and a bunch of the other guys like Ramos, Jung-Hoo Lee, guys like that can become the best. I mean, we need to see that. And I want to see that more than anything in the world because a lot of what I see from a lot of these guys really, it resonates with me. I think a lot of these guys can be really good. It's just got to be about the consistency. And, I mean, I've been obsessing over this one lineup or this team that we put together. And we have the order pretty much set. We're just wondering if certain individuals are going to be here. We're wondering if Kyle Tucker is going to get traded eventually. I mean, not to mention Corbin Burns is still out there, but information about them is scarce right now. Corbin Burns there's been talks about us coming on board to get him. Adames has said he's putting in calls as well to talk to him about the possibility of him coming here. But yeah, we need to also, if we're getting a chance at a guy like Kyle Tucker, we should definitely take a shot at him. I mean, I like the looks of Kyle Tucker. I like how he's been playing the last few years, but I really think we can definitely try and get an opportunity. Hold on, I just gotta find something. There's this information that's going around out there about what's going to be happening, but I'm definitely interested to see what happens here. It's just been especially with Kyle Tucker, I wonder how that's going to go. I mean, looking around at the market and what's been going on, the two guys that people are thinking of a lot that are still in the market are guys like Corbin Burns, and obviously a guy like Tucker is obviously a subject of trade conversations. But the possibility of him coming here is definitely it would be a good possibility. I mean, we have pieces that the Astros could want. We have starting pitching that they could be interested in. I know for a fact that they won't trade him to the Yankees. If they trade him to the Yankees, then that would be a disaster because then they would have to worry about them in the playoffs, and then you don't want to have to worry about Kyle Tucker later. So they won't trade him within the conference, I think. The Cubs, along with the Phillies, would definitely be a team that would be interested if Nick Castellanos moved around. But I'm wondering how the Phillies will play this offseason too. I mean, they're pretty content with the team they have, and they're just hoping things actually go well, I think. That's my opinion on the Phillies. But I'm interested. I am very interested to see how things shake up and how they put together. But as of right now, after some pretty big signings, like obviously we had Givaldi going back, we have Jimenez being traded, Max Fried, Yimi Garcia, along with Soto, obviously. We got Adames. The Mets signed Clay Holmes as a starter. I mean, we have a lot of interesting moves going on, but ever since yesterday, it's been pretty quiet. Feels like World War I, if I'm being totally honest. I think Eric will all give us great military history chronicles commentary on how World War I, there would be really quiet moments, and then there would be a bunch of shooting time to time. But I think the shooting's going to start up again soon, and it's more likely than not. I mean, this is the MLB free agency and just the trade market. I mean, it's inevitable that something's going to happen. But if I was the Giants, I would obviously be very bullish on pursuing Burns. But if the possibility of us getting Kyle Tucker is possible, I would be totally into the notion of doing that. I mean, Kyle Tucker is fantastic whenever he plays well. He was obviously very injured last year, which is not entirely his fault. I mean, he hit a foul ball off his foot, and that's not necessarily his fault, but it definitely happened. But Jesus, is it raining, dude? Yo, we got rain. Y'all. Man, I think Burns will be a Giant. I definitely think it's possible, Rob C. I agree. The possibility of Corbin Burns coming here is very, very real. I mean, there are, in my opinion, two guys right now on the free agent market that I am very bullish on, and it's Corbin Burns, and then obviously a guy of, I would say, Roki Sasaki. Roki Sasaki would be the other guy, but the thing is, a lot of people say Jack Flaherty is a possibility. I'm not saying I don't like Jack Flaherty. I think he's a really good pitcher. The problem with Jack Flaherty is that he's not really a pitcher you ask to build around or you make your ace. He's the pitcher that you're like, okay, I'm going to add him on to a roster of other great pitchers, like what the Dodgers did, obviously. And the reason why the Dodgers and Flaherty were able to be so successful with one another is the simplistic fact that he was able to be helped by other members of that rotation, and he was able to help them. It was an advantageous relationship. A lot of the pressure would be on him if he decided to come to the Giants. So unlike Corbin Burns, who can handle that pressure. So I would say the biggest guy I would want us to pursue would be Corbin Burns. The Kyle Tucker talks, I'm not entirely sure about that. He would definitely be interesting in a lot of ways, but I do not think he would go to the Yankees because the Astros are going to play the Yankees eventually, and I don't think that's a good decision. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on, I'm just getting a little information coming in right here. All right, there we go. Okay, no, that's cool. I actually like Charlie Morton for a veteran pitcher for the Giants. I think Morton would be a solid pitcher. But the thing is, I noticed about how Posey is signing players so far. Oh, Jesus. One of the things I've noticed about Buster and his decision-making so far on free agents has been he doesn't seem to be willing to consider the notion of, oh, yeah, let's just bring on a bunch of like random pieces. because he's definitely has a vision. I mean, we just got Willy Adames to lock up the left side of the infield. He's clearly thinking long term, especially after he signed Chapman. He's showing that, okay, I want this team to have a direction of, oh, yeah, I'm going to have this player here for a long amount of time. Oh, God. I'm just hoping that my internet doesn't cut out because the Wi-Fi appears to be unstable. No, we're getting back. But I wouldn't be unopposed to a guy like Charlie Morton, but it couldn't be for like a serious role. If we could kick him to the bullpen, I would be interested, but it's like, or maybe just have him 8 innings. But we already have an innings eater, and that's Logan. And I mean, I would just like, let me just bring up my my whole my whole chart and my whole like board that I'm doing right now for this. As of right now, this is what the pitching staff looks like. We don't have certain things. We have, as of right now, Logan as our most consistent starter. Hayden and Kyle are in the wings. Robbie had a bad year last year, and he still couldn't stay healthy. Jordan tapered off after having a decent time starting. And then Kyle and Landon are also looking a little – I like Landon a little more than Kyle, if I'm being totally honest, after Kyle just started tapering off at the end. But I am definitely interested to see how this rotation turns out, especially with – like a guy like Burns becoming a Giant. I mean, I would if we had Corbin, if we lock up Corbin Burns, that'll be huge. Not for a long-term contract, not for crazy money. Yeah, I'd agree. If we were going to get a guy like Charlie Morton as just like a depth guy, it would have to be just for like a little bit. And then we would probably bring up a guy like Carson Whisenhunt if we keep Carson Whisenhunt, because the possibility that Carson Whisenhunt gets traded, especially after all the rumors we've been hearing about Kyle Tucker, are more and more possible. I mean, if they come to me and offer me that, that would be awesome. Giants have to get Burns. We need a number 1. I would love Kyle Tucker. He's a dream consideration. Astros want too much on 1-year rental, sorry, I can't speak. Astros want too much on a 1-year rental, and I can't speak, and he want to go to free agency. I want Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott is another guy I've considered a lot. Hold on. I wouldn't say he's at the top of the list of guys that I really want, but he's definitely a reliever. Like, let's just say we don't do that well next year and we sign Tanner Scott to like a 3-year deal. We could say to other teams like, hey, we have Tanner Scott for you guys. Give us a couple good prospects like at the trade deadline, and you can have Tanner Scott. And this is if we don't do well, because Tanner Scott could be a really good reliever for some teams. He's a really good pitcher. So I would want to get him. But if we were going to go get a guy like Kyle Tucker, I would definitely think Whisenhunt would have to be in that deal. I don't think we couldn't trade away Eldridge. No chance. I mean, especially with how they've been doing first base and catcher over in Houston. I would definitely like to have Eldridge at first base here. So let me just check the prospects. Give me a second. Let me just check the prospects. Obviously, Dylan Cruz is at the very top. But yeah, looking at our farm, we would probably have to give up Whisenhunt, maybe Tibbs, somebody else. We would have to give up Whisenhunt and Tibbs, that's for sure. And then we would have to give up maybe like Reggie Crawford or Mason Black, someone of that nature. But I think that if we were going to try and make that move, we would have to take a risk. I don't think the Giants' prospects are good enough to get Tucker. I mean, we have some good prospects. Whisenhunt would be the guy that would definitely pique the interest of the Astros. But then again, they don't need a lot of pitching, so I don't know if they would want him. But yeah, so I think Tucker is definitely more of like I think George put it right when he said this is more of a dream consideration than anything. He's a guy I would love. If we got the opportunity to go get Kyle Tucker, I would be very happy to. Just, it's not the priority right now. The priority right now, in my opinion, would definitely be Corbin Burns. And if we have money left over, let's go hunt after Tanner Scott. I mean, Tanner Scott's an absolute stud. Yeah. Morkatna, good to see you. Adonis is cool, huh? Let's get Tucker. I mean, again, we got talking about Tucker. It's just, I consider Tucker a dream. I mean, he would be a great player to get, but he's not a guy that I'd be like, okay, let's totally like, let's go get him. Like, let's go. Like, I mean, if it was like, if Houston's like making us offer so much to get Kyle Tucker, like, and we can't get him, then I would be interested. I would be interested in the notion of an offer for Kyle Tucker, but I think the priority should definitely be a guy like Burns. Obviously, I think George put it very right. We need Burns for sure. I think we go get Burns. We need to go get Corbin Burns. I mean, this thing that I have up here, it has not changed. It's been Corbin Burns, Sasaki, Shino, and Jack Flaherty. Along with that, we have other guys like Sagano, Koyo, and then guys like Scott, Yates, and the Clerk. And then maybe a guy like Walker Buehler or John Means for like a revival. But we got to balance this out a little bit and figure out how we're going to take risks, because at this point, it's just a little, Burns, Tucker, and Roki, that's an off season. I would literally lose my mind if we got Roki Sasaki. If we got Roki Sasaki, that would be incredible. I mean, all I heard from his agent, he went up in a press conference and said, hey, listen, the Dodgers haven't been guaranteed to get him yet. We don't have a deal with him done, but we'll talk to him, though. And ever since he got posted, we've heard news about us going to talk to him, about the Mets, the Orioles, a bunch of other teams just saying, hey, we want to talk about your services. And if we got Roki, I would literally lose my mind, because that's not only a good player for now, it's the future. Sign Burns and Tanner Scott. Marlins open to trade Lazardo or Sandy Alcantara. I would love to trade Tyler Rogers and Yaz plus Black and Rainer Arias for Sandy Alcantara. They save on the contract. I think that, I do wonder. Yeah, the Marlins have said that they're open to trading a lot of their big-time arms purely because they're just not in a state to win anymore. I mean, I'm definitely interested in that team and how much they're willing to give us. I think Alcantara would be an absolute dream. I would love to get Sandy Alcantara. It's just but I think I'm looking at the more practical stuff, what definitely can be done considering what has happened so far. I would be more inclined to say that we get Corbin Burns. That's one thing that I think is definitely possible. Roki and a bunch of other guys, like our possibilities with Tucker, those are like, Jesus Christ. Shut up! Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, that was but yeah, like Tyler Rogers and Yaz plus like Black and Rainer Arias. I mean, I feel like Black, they wouldn't want to trade for Tyler Rogers purely because he's like a bullpen arm that a team that's contending could use him. I would want to trade him for like a prospect, like a good prospect, Tyler Rogers, but I'm not sure. But Sandy Alcantara or Lazardo would be a really good pickup because they're both really good pitchers. It's just, I wonder how likely it is that we'd be able to get these guys, considering, like how many prospects the Marlins would want. The Marlins have definitely been a team that's like, yo, we're going to give up everybody. Just like, you better give us good prospects. And it's like Rob C. said, we don't exactly have the best prospects. We have good prospects, but not guys that anyone would look at as a future superstar. Like Eldridge might be, but we're not going to trade Eldridge in any universe, in my opinion. We got to hope that he can be great. Tibbs, Wisenhunt, has Yaz played any first? I don't think Yaz is going to play first. It's going to be a platoon at first base until Bryce Eldridge comes up, I think. And that's going to be a little while from now. It could be next year that Bryce Eldridge come up, but it could also be the year after that. I mean, Eldridge could be a really good player, but for now, I think it's going to be a platoon of like a couple random guys. But yeah, Marlins would flip both Yaz and Tyler Rogers at the deadline. They can save money. We can get what we want. Eldridge is a hell no on trading him. Yeah, exactly. I don't think we trade Bryce Eldridge in any universe. If we trade Bryce Eldridge, I'm going to be really mad, if I'm being totally honest, because we need to defend our future most of all and get ready for it. I mean, it's just, let me go to the prospects actually. Hold on. Let's go to the prospects. No. Okay. shoot, this is a little strange looking. But yeah, this is, oh God. But yeah, this is currently our farm talent. And I'm definitely interested in that. But I'm wondering if we could trade any of these guys as well. I think Tyler Rogers would definitely be another guy they could flip. Yaz is another guy they could definitely flip. He could contribute to a decent team because he's more of a guy that's like, Yaz is not really a great player, but he's a guy that can help push a team forward, and that's cool. But looking at all of this, I mean, Wisenhunt would have to go. Kyle might have to go as well. Maybe a guy like Keaton Wynn or Randy Rodriguez. There are some interesting players on this team, along with, like, obviously the prospects you mentioned, Black. Yeah, Mason Black, along with a couple others. Yeah, there's Tibbs as well. Yeah, James Tibbs. Hey, Adi, good to see you. Welcome to the show. James Tibbs. Mason Black. But yeah, it's definitely interesting in that sense. I mean, this is the talent that we have. Rob C said that would be it. Rob C, that would be a dream. Yeah, okay. It's just if we managed to get our hands on a team of guys like that, if we swung a deal like that to get Kyle Tucker, I would be very impressed. But yeah, it's like, but as of right now in the orange, I think this is the priority. Corbin Burnes and Roki Sasaki. If we can get either one of those guys, I would be really, really, really happy with how we do. I mean, it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. I think that these are some high premium guys that a lot of teams want, but I think we could definitely take a shot at Corbin Burnes, and Roki Sasaki would be a hell of a player to get just for the future. But yeah, hold on. Give me a second. Bo Davidson. I haven't seen this individual. Hold on. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right. Why do you think the Burnes deal is taking forever? Could he be asking for too much, or is just the teams driving the price up? I think it's a little bit of both. He's asking for a lot of money because he is an ace, and he probably deserves a long-term deal. Teams driving the price up is definitely possible. I mean, Boston, the Blue Jays, the Mets, us. I mean, there's a lot of teams that want the services of an ace like Corbin Burnes. I don't think the Yankees are going to be able to get him. Though I don't think Baltimore's in on him anymore. I think he's gone from there. But there are definitely I think we are going to get him. I hope we are, because he is a guy that could really do well at Oracle Park. And now that his teammates here with us, I think he definitely has incentive to come here. I just think that he is going to be asking for a lot of money, reasonably so. I mean, he is a Boris client after all, and that only makes sense. But another thing we work with a lot of Boris clients, obviously, Jung Hoo and a bunch of other people. But I definitely think that Burnes, he's going to be – there's a lot of teams in on him right now. So from what I hear from, like, all the rumors that are going around, it's us, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and I think that is it. But yeah, Pete Alonso will be up next along with Corbin Burnes, according to USA Today. It's interesting for sure. If we can finally start competing and trading prospects can become easier. I think so too, yeah. Adames, Burnes, and Sasaki would be a great offseason. Grab a first baseman like Paul Goldschmidt for 1 to 2 year deal, or trade for Josh Naylor. He could be reassigned as a DH, first baseman or a DH to help with Aldridge. I think that is actually what I would be really ideally looking at for this offseason. I would want to get Burnes. I would want, like, Burnes. That is the one guy that I like. That's a no-brainer. We have to get Corbin Burnes because we need an ace. After that, Everything else is a sweetener, in my opinion. But I would really love to get one thing in particular. I would like to have a Band-Aid, just a good first baseman for just like 1 year or 2 years, depending on when Bryce Eldridge comes up. And then we either trade him or we do a DH. And I think that's definitely reasonable considering everything that's been going on. I'm hearing the Yankees will offer more than what the Giants offered to Burns. That scares me because the Yankees are pissed and they're looking to sign everyone right now. That's definitely possible. I mean, the Yankees are definitely a team that's being spiteful right now. They're just trying to screw up everybody's stuff. But what I've been seeing in particular has been like the chatter around a lot of what's been going on with Burns. The teams that are looking to talk to him a lot are us, the Red Sox, and the Jays. So I don't think he's going to go to the Blue Jays. I think it's going to be between us and the Red Sox. That's my opinion. But it's definitely possible. But, yeah. Who do we attach to the Yas Flores way to get decent prospects back? It would have to be Whisenhunt or Harrison, in my opinion. It would have to be Whisenhunt or Harrison, or two of our good prospects in the AAA, because pitching is something that a lot of people value, and a young pitcher like Whisenhunt or a young pitcher like Harrison could provide value to a team. I would definitely be interested in the notion of trading one of those guys. It would have to be good though, like a really good trade. But yeah, let me just look around. But yeah, the Kyle Tucker trade is definitely something else to talk about, but that's honestly for another day entirely. But we will definitely see how all this goes. I mean, I definitely think, okay, so what I would ideally want for this offseason, I want Burns. That's the need. I want Burns. Then I would really want to go gun hard for Sasaki. If we don't get him, I would really want to get Shino or one of the other good Japanese pitchers. Shino's obviously like 27, but that's much better than Sagano, who's like 36, which is a little better. But after that, I would want to get a Band-Aid for first base. Not anything crazy, but like a guy like, I wonder what's going to happen with the Yankees and like Christian Walker and Pete Alonso, because they want a first baseman. Burns and Teoscar would be the Giants' priority. I don't know about Teoscar. Listen, I think Teoscar Hernandez is a really good hitter, but does he really want to come to the San Francisco Giants? I mean, again, this is not an offense to Teoscar. I really like Teoscar Hernandez. I think he's great. The problem is would he really want to come here? Why not Boston or just stay in Los Angeles? I mean, I would definitely, again, nothing personal whatsoever to Teoscar. I think he's fantastic. I just wonder if he really wants to come here, even if we did offer him something good, which would be like, I'm going to guess like an $80 million contract for a right fielder with 2 hits as well as he does, maybe even $100 million, but we'll see. Yankees are not in on Burns. They need bats. They have plenty of pitchers. Doubt Bo Sox signed Burns. And they did not want to pay that much for Fried. Jays could pay a lot for Burns. So I'd say, yeah, that's the weird thing about FSG right now. I haven't heard a damn thing about them spending money. Yes, I've heard that they want to be more aggressive. The problem with FSG is that they're just so weird. They're not really spending. They do make really savvy and interesting trades, like the Crochet trade, which we just saw. But it's just so, like they've been really, ever since 2018 when they won it all, they have been very, very they've been very on the down low when it comes to spending. They don't spend as much as they used to. But I do think that they would definitely want to try and get Burns, but it's just, I think between us, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox, he would be interested in coming here. I do think we could pay Burns a good amount of money for him to stay here for long term. But yeah, I'm worried though because Scott Boras is his agent, and I don't trust Scott Boras for the life of me. You think the Niners have a chance today? I think we'll do well. I mean, I'm worried about that passing attack because our defense is so bad. I feel like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to get their catches, and we're going to get roasted in the passing game. But I do think we'll do well on the other side of the ball with our offense. I just think we got to get 1 or 2 good stops. It's really just about like holding on from here. We're not doing that great. And I don't think we're going to make the playoffs, but we should do okay. But yeah, but the other ideal thing that I would want besides Burns and Sasaki would be like a 1-year Band-Aid on the on Bryce Eldridge for Bryce Eldridge at first base. I want to go get like Christian Walker or Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt would be the ideal candidate purely because he's an old guy, but I don't know if I want to spend a qualifying offer on a guy that's eventually going to be gone. That's the biggest problem. It's the fans that want to spend for the Bo Sox, but their ownership is cheap. They didn't sign Betts. Big no-no. Yeah, Burns is not going there. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with FSG. They're just so – they used to spend so much damn money ever since 2018, they've fallen off the map when it comes to spending. And I'm definitely – that's why I'm worried. Like, are they going to start changing their ways, or are they going to keep the trend of FSG? Because what they've been inclined to do is just look at prospects and try and get people to build from within. And I don't know necessarily if that's a good idea, even though it's usually the practical way of doing things. But when you're a big market team like Boston, you got to spend, dude. So that knocks Boston off the board. So it's between us and the Jays, in my opinion. The Yankees might want to, but they just signed Fried to a $200 million contract. I mean, that's a lot of money. And I'm not sure if Burns is really interested in going to a rival. It's possible. It's certainly possible, though. Hold on. All right, I'm back. But yeah, the priority though should be Corbin Burns. If we don't get Corbin Burns, I think we're gonna be in trouble. But Boston I think they might be out. I'm not sure if they're out, but they can spend. They just haven't. I'm just so surprised that they've done nothing. They are quiet. That's the thing. You realize they offer so okay. Listen, I do think the Yankees are definitely still in the hunt for a lot of great players. It's just I'm worried about I don't know who else there is. I mean, they're trying to look at bats as well. They need to replace the offensive output that Soto had. That might be Anthony Santander. There's a number of other good players that they would want in that right field. They might want to go after Pete Alonso as well to fill the first base hole. They're apparently pursuing Nolan Arenado as well, which is oh yeah, that's another guy we haven't been talking about lately. Nolan Arenado has been another guy that the Cardinals have said, hey, listen, he's going to be shipped out. We don't know where. We're definitely fielding calls, though, and that's also interesting. So the Yankees, I do think they are worried about bats in a lot of ways, Johnny, but they could sign Burns. But right in the meantime, they have Burns. Sorry, they have Cole. They have Max Fried. They have Carlos Rodon. They have Luis Gil and Clark Schmidt and other pitching depth. I would say that they would be going after bats, but they could go after Corbin Burns and just create a three-headed monster down over and go over in the Bronx. But I feel like the priority now that they lost Soto, they're going to be trying to replace the bats. And I don't think the Mets are going to have the money to pay Pete Alonso right now. They just wasted a lot of capital. I'd laugh my ass off if the Dodgers get Arenado and trade Muncy to the White Sox for Robert Jr. That would be pretty funny. Admittedly, that would be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny. Ideally, that would be a pretty funny situation, especially sending him to the worst team in baseball, the White Sox. I mean, okay, here we go. Hopefully we get Burns and Tucker. If not them, we'll talk about somebody else. Manassian. Sorry, talked about us needing a DH. I feel like Santander would be a great DH. I would like to have Anthony Santander as a DH. He would be a great DH for this team. I mean, he's a switch hitter. He can pull the ball. He can spread it across the field. Hold on. Let me just get his baseball reference or his, his baseball savant. Sorry, give me a second. God damn, I just forgot. I'm getting too jumpy. But yeah, let's just take a look at Anthony Santander's spray chart a little bit. let's share this tab. We're looking at a guy who hit 44 home runs. He had some good hitting. He didn't have a great average or on-base percentage, but he was slugging really well, which is something I'm impressed by. He had decent stats. He wouldn't be a guy that I would spend a lot of money on, but I would definitely say like, hey, we could talk about him, especially if he was like, if he plays back to what he was. And look at the spray chart that he has. He's hitting the ball everywhere. And to be fair, the Orioles park is actually worse it's worse than ours, to be fair. The Orioles ballpark for hitters is actually worse if you look in left field, but I'm definitely interested. If that a DH would be another guy that we could talk about. I mean, DH is obviously a bit of a luxury in a lot of ways to have a good one, especially a guy like Jordan or a guy like Stanton. Other guys like that, those guys are, luxuries in big ways. But I would say that we could definitely try and take a shot at a guy like that. I'm just wondering how much Santander wants. Not to mention his trade market, as far as I hear, him and Teoscar, their trade market has been pretty quiet, if I'm being honest. And I really want to see at least one of them get signed soon because it'll open it up for the other one. But maybe Santander. Sorry, those are. Just take those off really quick. But yeah, these are trades. These are guys we can sign on free agency. There is a lot of stuff. Matos will have to do better next season, in my opinion. I don't think we need a DH. I don't necessarily think we need a DH. I think we could probably just platoon it, if I'm being totally honest. And besides, we have a guy like Gerard Encarnacion, who actually looked pretty good last year. And I would be inclined to say, hey, let's give him a shot. It's spring. But I do wonder, if we truly need a DH, because a DH is more of a luxury in a lot of ways. Again, these two guys would be really cool. Like Santander and Teoscar would be cool, but I think guys like Lawrence Butler and Kyle Tucker would fulfill more immediate needs that the Giants have, which is right field and a power bat, which is what Kyle Tucker would fulfill, not necessarily Lawrence Butler. But I think the guys in orange, most of all, are the guys we need to talk about. So, the question is, we have a new bat, which is Adames, and that's interesting, but do we need another one? I mean, you can never have too much hitting, but I think pitching should be the priority. Obviously, I think there's a pretty big consensus among everybody in this community about who we need. We need Corbin Burnes. He's clearly the biggest guy that we're like, oh yeah, we have to get Corbin Burnes. If we get Corbin Burnes, then we are really in a good spot. I'm just trying not to set myself up for disappointment. I think the Giants will get Burnes, yes, but don't count New York out. Don't count them out because New York, they're a pissed off front office right now. They didn't get the guy they wanted back, and right now they're not in a great mood. So I would definitely say be wary of how much money they're going to spend. I would be surprised if the Yankees were trying to pursue him actively, because as good as Corbin Burnes is, and the Yankees can't afford him, they need to replace the offensive production that Soto had. I mean, sorry, let me just get this. I think they could also be in on Santander. I mean, if we look at Juan Soto's production, that's 41 home runs, a 400 on-base percentage, a massive slugging percentage. That's a lot of at-bats in a lot of games played. I mean, I think what the Yankees would be advised to do, they would try and get bats just to replace that massive offensive production that they have. Val point about DH being kind of a luxury. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we definitely need to be right now, LD. We need to be building a team that's like all of the important stuff is filled out. A DH is cool. I mean, that's a cool thing to have. And Santander could fill out right field, but in right field at this park, there's a very few people that can play right field at Oracle Park. And again, I would like to have a guy like Santander or a guy like Teoscar, but he doesn't fill an immediate need right now. Guys like Corbin Burns and Roki Sasaki definitely do. And a guy like Kyle Tucker definitely would. I mean, just looking at all the information that I see right now, I mean, this is what the starting lineup would look like on opening day. That's what it would look like. I mean, I really do think the DH is just going to be a platoon. Maybe we bring back Encarnacion because he did play well last year when he had his at-bats. But I do wonder how much of a priority. I mean, yeah, to be fair, Manayasen did say, like, hey, like, this is a big priority for us. But, yeah, if we get Burns and Santander, we'd lose 6 picks and about $3 million international money. Santander doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that is the biggest thing, Adi, isn't it? I mean, like, right now, it's a luxury. Oh, I just lost my pen. Hey! Okay. But I would say the biggest priority is pretty clear. I think most of this community and mostly everybody has a pretty big consensus on what we want. We want this guy. And again, a lot of these other guys would be cool. I think Roki Sasaki would be a guy we need to have a conversation about. Buster talked about him yesterday with Pavlovich. He said, like, yo, if we got Sasaki, I would literally be over the moon. Shino would also be an interesting guy to get. I mean, he's 26, but that's not too old. I mean, he is older, and you would probably want to be like 25 or 24, but it's definitely not terrible. Hey, 49er Media, welcome back. Good to see you. And still no news. This is bullshit, right? Surely. Oh my gosh. This guy said the Yankees will sign and the Corbin Burns will sign with the New York. Yeah, shut up. Hold on. Let me check Jeff Passan right now. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet right now. As of right now, but yeah. I didn't watch a lot of McCreasy events. Could he take care of right field? I think he could. The question is, ARP, could he reduce his strikeout numbers? If Grant McCray could seriously be a good player for this team, then I could say, you know what? Let's give him a shot in right field. The problem is Grant, as good as he was in some moments last year, he played really badly at the plate. So he struck out a lot, and I like him, but he needs to get better. Yeah, if Burns and somehow if get Burns and somehow Lance Sasaki, that would be better than Christmas. I would literally start crying in front of this entire audience. I would be in tears with happiness if we actually got Sasaki and Burns. I would lose it. But we can't always have everything we want, and I would be really surprised if Sasaki didn't end up with the Dodgers, but since his agent has said, hey, we aren't guaranteeing anything, we'll see. You only lose $1 million if you sign more than one qualifying offer. The $3 million is not accurate. You do lose You do lose 2 draft picks for each signing of a qualifying offer. That's fair. So we do have a lot of stuff to consider. I mean, I like Santander, but he's more of like a luxury guy more than anything else. He's a luxury guy. I think it was due to lack of at-bat, right? I think if you give him 400 at-bats, he would decent, has a great swing. I do think he would be a great player too. But in the limited sample size he had, he did strike out like 43% of the time, which was a little that's a lot of the time. I do think he has a great swing. I think he can be a great player. The problem is it's just like, it's just the notion of, okay, how do I say this? Grant was great. I mean, I think if you put him in right field and gave him 400 at bats, I would be like, yeah, totally. Let's give him a shot. But it's like, yeah, Santander did have a great season, Daniel. I agree. It's just like, he's more for a team that's ready to contend right now than a team like us that's still building. Santander is a DH. He's a luxury, not exactly a guy that we could can't sign more than 2 players with a qualifying offer. Losing 6 top 10 picks is a lot. Grant McCray is arguably faster than even Fitzgerald. He just needs a little more time in the minors. There was a time when Ronald struck out a ton too. I'd agree. Listen, I think that the right field spot, depending on how Grant eventually plays, I think that he can go to the right field spot. It's a lot of time. He'll figure it out. I think Grant McCray can eventually be a really good player. I saw the flashes of potential that made me think, you know what, Grant, you could be a great player for this team. But as 49er Media has said, he's not ready yet. He can be. That's my opinion about Grant McCray. He has shown me the potential to be ready at some point, but that could be a very long time from now. We could see, this could be a very long time from now before we can see Grant be the best. I think that he can be within maybe 2 years if he gets better, if he improves his strikeout numbers, if he improves. His defense is clearly great. That's not even a question in my opinion. It's just, in my opinion, it's a question of how is he going to get better at the plate? If he can get better at the plate, that's a speed threat as well. I mean, Tibbs might be up 2 and ready to go before McCray is, in my opinion. That's another thing. We have to worry about so many. The outfield, we used to have no outfield, but now it's getting crowded out there. I mean, Ramos and Jung-Hoo Lee are definitely going to be out there. But then we have Tibbs and McCray, who are both right fielders or corner outfielders who could be a problem as well. I mean, I'd love to see Tibbs eventually come up to this team. It would be interesting, and so would be Grant, but I just really want to see both of them improve first. For now, maybe we Band-Aid it, have Yastrzemski play 1 or 2 more years, see how it all goes. Maybe we just keep platooning it, but we'll see. Haven't seen much of Tibbs. No, I haven't seen much of Tibbs either. It's been pretty quiet on his run. Give me a second. All right, here we go. But as of right now, looking at this page, this is the promising talent that this team has. But looking at this team, hold on, give me a second. I'm just gonna mark up the players that I think have a lot of really good potential, or guys that I would say, you know what, this guy could really be good. Grant also looks good. I think Randy. Oh shoot, I went red. My bad. I go orange. Randy could be really good. He had a pretty good first year. But that's not the color I want. I don't want that. I want the regular color, please. There we go. And then this would be the guys that I would look at as oh yeah, these could be really good players. And Kyle as well. But that's even then it's and to be fair with Keaton Wynn, we didn't get to see a lot of him play. Oh, sorry. He reminds me of Tucker offensively, Johnny. Hoping he lives up to it. I would love to see James Tibbs become a really good player for this team. It's just a matter, in my opinion, of I can't wait to see what he can do. It's just, hold on, let me just go take a look at Tibbs really quick. Look at his stats. He played really well in single A. Then he went up to triple A. Not triple A, high A, and he kind of played blah. He didn't play terribly, but okay, he did play terribly. It was a horrible one. But he had a lot. He did take a little bit to hit the ground running there. So I think that we have to be careful about how we develop him. Very much a line drive guy with power. Yeah. Tibbs going to be the next Yaz. I hope not, because Yaz is a good player, but he's not nearly a really impactful player. But yeah. Yeah, Jazz does have a lot of swing and miss out. Yeah, I agree. But this is the team. These are the young talents that I'd be looking at and saying, you know what, these guys could be really good. Luis Matos looked okay. Lucy is going to always be a point of controversy in this community. Encarnacion, I think everybody saw that he could be pretty okay. He's also a little older, to be fair. But it's definitely interesting to see how that could go. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff to consider. I mean, this is what the staff looks like right now, but I think the biggest priority is pretty clear to everybody here. Everyone knows that we need an ace. We need an ace more than anything else. So I would say it's either going to be Corbin. Corbin has got to be our priority, in my opinion. But we'll see how that goes. Corbin Burns. No news on him yet. But Adames has specifically said, hey, I'm going to call and see how he does. But yeah, Yaz needs to get traded. Can Matos cover right field until Tibbs and Grant is ready? I think that, yeah, he could probably do that and just fill in right field just to be like a defense first guy. But yeah, Canario was a single A. They were able to get Chris Bryant with him. I like with guys like Arias, Tibbs, Palmeras, Jordan, and Barico, you can make better trades with them. I think that the outfield for this team has been getting super crowded. I think this team has been super crowded. So Tibbs hasn't even played with Sacramento net. No, he's still in single A, high A. I think he'll get better, but it's going to be a few years. That's my opinion with Tibbs. But like looking at him, he's still 22. He's going to get better, I think. He's younger than Eldridge, who got drafted before him. So it's going to be a minute, but I think that Grand Admiral makes a good point in saying that a lot of these guys who are like outfield prospects, like Jordan, Arias, guys like Meckler, guys like other people, there are certain players on the minor league rosters that was like, I thought Tibbs was 25. No, he's 22, which is helpful, that's for sure. But looking at all of the guys on this team, we could definitely make trades, but purely because a lot of these guys are like, they're definitely jamming up the outfield, because 2 spots for this season have been basically guaranteed. Jung-Hoo Lee in center field, Ramos in left, and then right field is a mystery, in my opinion. Yaz may just stay on purely to just wait up for one of these younger guys, but we'll see. But yeah, Arias, Tibbs, Palmeras, Jordan, and Baricoto, guys like that can be traded, especially considering the log jam we're getting into in the outfield. We do obviously want next man up, but it's also like it's looking a little risky. I mean, let me just put some people in green, actually. Okay. The people in the green are guys I think we can trade. I don't know about Matos being traded. I think Keaton Wynn is a very big unknown right now. Keaton Wynn showed a little bit of potential when he was actually playing. The problem is, the reason why I think he played so badly after a couple of his injuries was just purely because he was injured and he couldn't keep going. And then he had that nerve issue in his arm. I hoped he got better, but he never was the same after a couple injuries. That forearm strain that he got, like here, after that, he was never the same. And it's just, I'd like to see him do better, because I think Keaton Wynn can be a better player, but we'll have to see about him. But basically everybody in the orange, I think, is good talent and can be traded, and that we can use. And I think the guys like in the green can be traded. I think there are just some people that we could definitely look at for trades. Well, we'd have to see. But I'm interested. This offseason is shaping up pretty well right now, though. So I'm not going to say I'm satisfied yet, because I'm not even close to that. But I definitely am very, very much like, okay, this is shaping up because we have what we have. We have Adames, and we have a roster around him that looks solid. Rivercats outfield, I think McCray will be McCray, Matos, and Luciano. Baricoto and Palmeras did well in AA and might climb. I see Tibbs making AA this year too. I think that's good predictions. I think Tibbs will continue the hot streak we saw at the beginning of the year. I think that he'll continue to do better. He's adjusting into professional baseball, and we'll see how he does there. I think I think Palmeiras is. I think Grant. I've seen these guys. To be fair, I've seen the guys at AAA play a little better, or I've seen them play, so I have a better scope on them. I don't know about Baricotto and Palmeiras, so I can't talk about them too much. But I think that McRae looks solid and he could be great. I think Matos also had that one stretch where he looked crazy, but then we moved him to the leadoff spot for no damn reason. Basically, just I mean, like. I have a theory. The reason why Matos started playing so badly was purely because like you put him in a position to fail. He was literally mashing the ball so hard in the 6 and 5 hole, and we sent him back down because he didn't do well in a leadoff spot. I mean, yeah. Matos and McRae, I would be the ones I keep. The rest I trade. I think that Lucy, I would like to believe in him, but I'm just. A couple moments have just been like, okay, dude, come on, you got to do better than that. And I think Matos and McRae have shown me that I think I can trust them eventually. Lucy, he's shown me some ability, but he hasn't shown it on a consistent basis or even a stretch of games. I mean, McRae, he had some outstanding stuff like his glove, and he hit pretty well when he was doing well. But the problem is he also struck out a lot. Matos, I think a lot of the stuff that happened to him was sort of out of his control. I don't know why we took him out of the masher spot and started putting him in idiotic spots like, I don't know, the freaking leadoff spot for no reason. I mean, he looked good, dude. Seriously, he looked good in that masher spot. He was playing really well in like the 6 and the 5 hole, and then we took him out of that, put him in leadoff for no reason. Christ, it's like Farhan all over again, dude. Like, dude, that guy was... God. Thanks a lot, Farhan. You freaking idiot. Goddamn putts. But yeah, looking at the prospect list, though, there's a lot of guys that could be good, but it's going to take a while before they're ready to go. I mean, it's just going to be a little while, man. I don't think we're going to be ready in time for that. It's going to be interesting, but we'll see. We don't exactly have like a farm system that's incredible. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. All right. I think we might go in a minute. So if anybody has anything else to add, I'm here for it. Because I got finals. I got to take care of my business. And I got to make flashcards in a minute. But yeah. Hold on. All right. If anybody else has anything to bring up, I'm here for it, but in a minute I got to go. Bishop and Meckler really need to be out of the organization. They haven't shown anything, man. Like, I haven't heard a damn word about like, oh yeah, Bishop and Meckler are going to be great. The only good prospect or only two good prospects I've heard about are Bryce Eldridge and Wisenhunt. And Tibbs, obviously. But obviously he's a little new. But like other than that, like the prospects, the organization, we don't have a lot of talent that people are gunning for. I mean, there's some good players that I've seen play for this team, but it's like we have not seen anything that's made me think that, yeah, this is going to be it. Yeah, I have a feeling Matos and McRae will be in the SF dugout. I like McRae, but I think more playing time in Sac would do him better than the SF bench. I agree. I think that he should just go to Sacktown, keep getting better. I think that it would be better served at the outfield. That right field spot is just platooned right now, just like right here. I think this is what it's looking like right now. I mean, this is what I think it's going to be. This is what I think it's going to be as of right now until Eldridge is eventually called up to be on first base. Whenever that may be, that could be in the next few years. But this is basically what I think the positions are going to look like for the next season. It's going to be Patrick Bailey at first. He'll be platoon. Second, Fitz. Shortstop, Willie Adames. Third will be Matty Ice. Elliot Ramos will be in left. Jung-Hoo Lee will be in center field. And then the DH and the right field in the first will all obviously be a mix of platoon guys and maybe possibility. But, hey, everybody listen up. I got to go. I'm really tired. But I also have to make flashcards for a final that's happening tomorrow. So I can't exactly stick around. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Johnny, Grand Admiral, ARP. I appreciate everybody else. Adi, Daniel, LD, and a bunch of other guys like Mark Katna and Daniel for stopping in. I appreciate you guys. It's been great talking to you guys. I'm promising to do better, and I'm hoping that I'm living up to your expectations. I appreciate y'all very much. See you.
You've been watching the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network, a Northern Lights Entertainment broadcasting station.